I'm Nevin Freeman. I'm the co-founder of Reserve. Hyperinflation just means like the rapid rising of prices, actually. Like when we talk about inflation, a lot of people think about like increasing the number of units of currency. They think that that's what inflation means. Inflation actually refers to prices. It's price inflation. So if you live in a country where there's hyperinflation, the prices of everything are going up very quickly. And so you have the same amount of money over time, that you've saved, but things become prohibitively expensive over the course of time as the currency devalues. So the way that we're tackling that right now is trying to help people, just trying to help people cope with hyperinflation by allowing them to convert their money into a different currency, in this case, US dollars. And in the long term, we aim to try to address hyperinflation by basically offering a totally alternative stable currency that if it's adopted widely enough, and this is a very long-term vision, we'll see if we get there, would ideally reduce the instance of hyperinflation because we wouldn't be dependent on central bank and government monetary policy to keep things stable. Reserve as a project started focusing on the protocol level on creating a currency, but we ended up spending a lot of time so far in the project building a mobile app that just makes it easy to get access to stablecoins and actually use them as money. Because we realized if we just build a currency, if we just make a token and we just try to get it onto crypto exchanges, that won't actually reach the people who we thought could use the thing the most. So we decided to focus on building this platform. But there is this other layer that's underneath there, which is the protocol. And that's something where we've conceived of a technology for aggregating together different tokens on any blockchain to create a basket-backed currency. And so right now we have a very simple dollar basket, just a basket of dollar tokens, but that can be generalized. So you can create baskets of other assets as things are tokenized over the coming decade or two or three. And so the long-term vision of that protocol, the point of that is to make it easy for the world, for people to create alternative basket currencies. And we believe, in the way that sort of Hayek believed, that if you have open currency competition, eventually one dominant one will emerge. And that if that's outside, if that's something that's outside of control of any particular government, that it will be a more stable currency in the long term. In the Reserve app, it's been out for about a year, and over the course of that 1 year, there have been 1.8 million transactions done so far, and about $235 million worth transacted. What does that mean? So mostly people earn money in a volatile currency, like Argentine pesos or Venezuelan bolivars, and they convert that money into US dollars in the app in order to sort of get onto a stable footing. It's like, okay, my money's not going to go down, at least in dollar terms. And then they incrementally move the money out of the app from time to time when they need to spend. Because you can't yet go spend Reserve at all of the different merchants or stores that you want to transact at. So you have to convert back into the local currency to make those spending transactions. We've started to see merchant adoption. So we've started to see, at this point, there's about 5,000 merchants that accept payment directly in Reserve, which is quite exciting. So we're starting to see actually some circulation in the economy. And we're starting to see some of those companies actually directly paying their employees with Reserve dollars as well. And it's like, why not, right? Like if you have a situation where the local currency is so volatile, it makes sense. You would like to be paid in a stable currency like that. So that's part of what we've started to see. For the most part, businesses and individuals that use Reserve sort of found their way into it. We haven't really had to do a whole lot of intentional onboarding or business development to get to this point. We do some outreach to merchants to help them get set up in some circumstances, but one thing we've seen, and we see this on social media, is we start to see more and more pictures coming mainly out of Venezuela of merchants with like handmade signs that say that they accept Reserve, some of them really creative and artistic. And it's actually very similar to what we saw in Venezuela with Zelle. Zelle is, for those who don't know, it's a way of sending money from bank account to bank account in the U.S. And a lot of people in Venezuela use Zelle, even though that's not really what it was intended for a similar reason, to be able to transact in dollars. And so you see all these handwritten signs of "We accept Zelle." Well, it's starting to say "We accept Zelle" and "We accept Reserve." So that sort of simple imagery is part of our feedback mechanism. It's like, okay, how many handwritten signs are we seeing? Because that really shows that people, they want to do it. It's actually solving a problem and motivating them to take that step. We've realized that it's actually pretty difficult to understand what life is like living with inflation, high inflation or hyperinflation, and the meaning of stable cryptocurrency getting inserted into those economies. And we want the world to understand that. We want the world to understand that because we want more people to come build with us on the Reserve project and in other, sort of surrounding projects in crypto. And we want governments and politicians and regulators to understand the humanitarian importance of this. So we are seeking what I would call a documentarian. We want somebody to join the project full time and spend their effort figuring out how to tell that story, how to convey the human reality for people in countries that have hyperinflation and the progress that's occurring with cryptocurrencies getting involved. And so that person would, we need somebody who has like lots of experience, very good judgment, because we're mostly not going to tell them what to do. We're mostly just going to say, okay, it's up to you to figure out the best way to document this. That could be long-form documentaries, like a full-length movie. That could be, short-form things that get posted on social media. Maybe it turns out that film actually isn't the best medium for some reason, and they end up using different media to convey that. So it's a creative challenge, and we're seeking the right person, and we're going to be picky about who that is, because if the person really has the right judgment, we think that this could be a very powerful message that could spread far and wide. If you think that you could be the right person for that job, you can go to our website, reserve.org, and you can contact us via email, contact@reserve.org. We read all those emails pretty quickly, and we'll get back to you from there.